Hello everyone and welcome to the second best channel on the internet, after Blue Van Man of course. What a legend. And yes, we are back with another Chucky review, and today is going to be, one of the last Chucky reviews for a while, since this is the latest addition to the original franchise, and the Chucky TV series comes out this year. I have no clue when though, just this year. So, yep. After this, I'll do the reboot at some point. Don't know when. I'm thinking of making it my Halloween video, but yeah, I'm hoping to get this video out on March 3rd, which would be the 1 year anniversary of my first video, aka Child's Play review. So that would mean it would have taken an entire year for me to just complete a series of 7 films. That's pretty mad, but we just gotta get into it, you know what I mean? Now this review, everyone, is going to be a positive review indeed. Yes, I do indeed like this film. I feel like when it comes across the mental people, I think they execute that pretty well. And it gets the stuff right that you expect from a horror movie. Alright, you got the likable characters and the unlikable characters. The unlikable characters, honestly, forgot the name, to be honest. She's the one who gets her head chopped off. Yep, she's pretty unlikable throughout the film. And then there's that oldish bloke who seems like a really nice guy at first, but then he turns out to be a bit wrong in the head, a bit of he's a bit of a rapey fella. So yeah, what I'm saying is that, the unlikable characters are unlikable, and the likable characters are likable. Like, Nika's back in this film, which I'm glad she is, because just like in the previous film, she's still a great character. It's so cool that we're going to get a disabled protagonist like this who can just, well, last reviewer said stand on her own, but she can't exactly do that, can she? Yeah. I also like with the mentally ill characters, they make you be able to sympathise with them. Like the one who just sees things, was homeless on the streets, and the other one lost her child, and now is protective over the doll, thinking it's her child, which, is quite interesting in this film, because she's thinking this murderous doll is her literal baby, and I mean, it's mad. So, yeah, now I just want to get into a few things that bothered some people, 3 things, and they are the look of the doll, the lack of Andy Barkley, and just the fact that the whole film seems white. Yeah, and that's what I'm getting into. So I think the complaint about the doll in this film was mainly about the neck, especially in this shot, which I kind of understand because, I mean, it does look kind of weird. It looks like you can hardly see the neck, and its head looks really round in this shot. But honestly, it didn't bother me that much. This is the only shot of the film I remember where the doll looked really weird, and you gotta remember, even if it did have a bad looking doll, you gotta remember that this is a straight to DVD film, so you gotta just appreciate that it even looks good at all, straight to DVD. And I mean, it's not even the worst doll in the franchise. I mean, I think it looks better than the reboot version. I don't think they did a terrible job on that version, but it doesn't really look great exactly. Another thing people are complaining about is the lack of Andy Barkley in this film, and yes, it's very noticeable. He was teased at the end of Curse of Chucky, so it seems like he's going to have a big part in the next one, and it's not a very big part. He doesn't get too much screen time, so I can kind of understand the disappointment. But as someone who only got into the franchise like in, I think it was 2019, maybe, it's either 2018, I think it was 2019. Yeah, 2019, when the 7th film came out 2 years ago. I didn't feel that disappointment, but yeah, again, I do understand, but you just gotta remember, this isn't even a complete film. Like, it ends on a cliffhanger, so, like, I'm pretty sure by the end of this franchise, Andy will have a lot more to do in the next few films than he did in this film and The Curse of Chucky. So honestly, I wouldn't really worry about this too much, you know. So, I mean, for the scenes he was in, it was really great, especially that scene where he was with that Chucky head. That was a really cool scene. I mean, it's just the greatest revenge thing, and it only makes sense. I mean, in a lot of horror movies, you think, oh, these people are so dumb, no one would ever be this dumb, but Andy did something smart. He's killed Chucky about 3 times, I think, in the films, and he just keeps coming back, and he's probably aware of all the other times he came back to life, like in Brideseed, Curse and all that. So he just thought he'd keep it alive and torture it, you know? Payback. Seems smart, you know? It's a shame, Chucky came up with the old trick to put his soul in multiple dolls, which I will get to that topic in a bit. Now, all the white in the film, in the hospital, what do you call it? Hospital? I don't know what you call it, really. But, like, all the white, every room is white, from ceiling to walls to the floor, to the nurses' clothes. Pretty much everything's white. I didn't even spot a single black guy in the film either, to be honest. So, yeah, there's, like, I'd say about at least 80% of the film, the rooms are just white. Like, everywhere you go, you see white everywhere. And honestly, this probably annoyed a lot of people. Like, it was just an eyesore to them. But honestly, I expected it to bother me, but it didn't for some reason. I don't know, I kind of liked it in a way, to be honest. It made you feel just as tormented as Nika. And also, it really does make Chucky just stand out and, pop, So you can see him, he's shining, he's the glory of the scene. He's the thing you want to focus on, and you can clearly see him right in front of you. Like, in Bride of Chucky, he didn't really stand out as much because, like, the way he looked just matched the tone of the film a lot. But by tone, I mean look of the film. Like, there's a lot of blue and that, and Chucky's main clothing colours are blue. And when he's in that van, he doesn't exactly pop out. It's quite dark, to be honest. So, yeah, I really like what they did here. Well, not really. I just sort of like it. So let's talk about the characters in general. I've already gotten on to, Nika. Yep, she's a great character, as always, I really like the way they took her character at the end, where instead of her finally defeating Chucky, or maybe even her getting killed, they did something really cool where, for once, Chucky transferred his soul into her body, and for some reason made her be able to stand up. I don't know, but yeah, that's a really cool new take on the franchise now, because at this point, 7th film in the franchise, you'd think it'll be getting really stale and they'd be doing so many rehashes, but no, we decided to try new things, and honestly, it worked. And it doesn't even worry you that, like, in the next film will we hardly see any Chucky dolls, because he's in a human body. And I think that's the main reason they never did it in other films, because people like the doll, but they did a smart approach in this film by doing it. But, since he can put his soul into multiple dolls, we'll still get to see Chucky dolls, and we'll also probably get to see Tiffany doll in the next film. And speaking of Tiffany, she's in this film, but her role is not very large at all. I think it's a bit bigger than it was in Curse of Chucky, and going with the trend, she slashes a cop's throat and, licks the blood for the 3rd time. And honestly, it's not getting boring, Chucky always says, a true classic art never goes out of style. And even, it's true, because he said it again in this film. A true classic never goes out of style. I'm really glad they're making references to the older films. Speaking of that, Nika said that Tiffany looks just like Jennifer Tilly. They're making a reference to the movie that kicked the franchise out of theaters. That's a ballsy move, and if you think that was ballsy, originally they were going to have them mention Glenn, who only appeared in Seed of Chucky, the worst Chucky film ever created. And honestly, Universal were the only ones that weren't being ballsy, because they were the ones who wanted them to cut that out. So, yeah, I wish they did mention him, but oh well, we can't have everything. And Andy, yeah, had hardly any screen time, but everything he's in is pretty cool. The only thing I can really complain about, even though it's not really a big complaint because it didn't bother me, I just want to say this, it's not a complaint, but it's not exactly a positive either. He's not really the best actor in the world, is he? Obviously he wasn't when he was younger either, but he does the job, and honestly it never bothered me. I'm just saying. Yeah, I've seen way better actors. No disrespect to him, he's great. And the kills in this film were yet again great. Every Chucky film has great films. None of them feel really dry and boring and just, oh yeah, he just stabs the person. They do different things almost every kill. One of them uses one of the things off Nika's wheelchair. One, he does the thing with the glass and it slices woman's head off. I think that's a reference to Bride of Chucky, but I don't know, maybe it's just a coincidence and they like doing that. And was there even any stabbings with a knife? I think there was kind of, oh yeah, there was that team-up kill with the 3 Chuckies. I think that was pretty good, especially when his guts started popping out. That was cool, even though steam came out. I don't know if that happens in real life. Who knows? And there was that bit where, he killed that woman by putting his hand in her mouth and just sort of ripping stuff out. I don't know exactly what he ripped out. I have no idea what that was. But hey, I mean, it was gruesome, It's made you cringe in a good way, like, ew, that's scummy. You know what I mean? So, kills were pretty solid, though. Especially the one where he's in Nika's body and he stamps that bloke's head in with a shoe when she's wearing heels. Or he, I don't even know what to say. I'll just say he, whatever. Yeah, Chucky in Nika's body, stamping on that bloke's head. Man, that was gruesome. That was very gruesome. I think they were still practical effects. It looked really good. I don't know if I can show the image of what his face looked like after he got stamped. It got stamped in because of YouTube, obviously. But it did look great. Just Google it if you want. It looked so gruesome. I think this might be the most gruesome film in the franchise. So, yeah, the kills are great, as always. Alright, it won't be a Chucky film if Chucky didn't die somehow. Oh, wait. Oh yeah, Curse of Chucky exists. Never mind. But it wouldn't be a traditional Chucky film if Chucky didn't die. Well, one of the versions of Chucky died, and it was my least favourite out of the 3. So this is where we're going to talk about both the way Chucky died and how it was executed, and we're going to talk about the 3 Chuckies. First, we're going to talk about the 3 Chuckies. Honestly, I think they were quite funny, to be honest. I liked seeing them on screen, but at the same time, it felt like quite a big tonal shift, because it felt like as serious as Curse, almost, not quite, but close. And honestly, I didn't mind the comedy they had together, but I think the short-haired one was a bit much, where he sounded really goofy and weird, and, he was like, hello, it just stopped being scary at that point. I like the other 2, but just not this one. So I'm happy that he's the one that got killed by Andy, and he's the Chucky that died. And honestly, look on your screen right now, look at this. Doesn't this just look really cool? Honestly, this is just evidence that there's living dolls out there killing people. The fact he has guts in and all that. Maybe they'll implement that into the next film, I don't know. But they should, because it would make a lot of sense. So, yeah. Honestly, Andy killed him off really easily, and I always thought it was weird because, like, in other films, it took him an entire film to kill Chucky, but in this part, it only took, like, less than a minute, and it wasn't even that intense of a battle, to be honest. Andy got the upper hand quite easily, but honestly, at the same time, I was thinking, he's killed Chucky 3 times, he's probably used to it by now, and also, they're both in a room together. Like, Chucky can't hide anywhere. There's nowhere to hide. So it would be easy for someone there to die that quickly. So honestly, I don't mind it. It just felt short. And after that, you just thought, is that it? But I still thought it was quite cool. But another negative I've got to say is Andy sent this doll to the weird asylum thing. Why? Who bloody knows? It's never even explained. He just sort of gets the doll out of his cupboard and then sends it there. And even the Chucky doll that is alive in his house is like, what are you doing? And that's my question. What is he doing? That's probably the biggest negative of the film. Why did he do that? Was it to experiment to see if there actually was more than one Chucky doll? And he went in the asylum so he can check it out and then talk to Nika. Maybe that's the reason, because there's been reports of more Chuckies, even though a Chucky was literally in his house and he was suspicious of it. I don't know, it would make sense, but I don't know. There could be another reason. maybe he just did it because he wanted to kill a Chucky. I don't know. He just felt angry and wanted to kill a Chucky. Or maybe my theory before, where he kills it and all the organs are there and all that in the body. Maybe he sent that Chucky there so he could kill it and then get all the organs out of the body. Because he can't do that with the doll he has in his house because it's just a head, no heart or anything. But like with this one, it's got a heart and a brain and lungs and everything, and testicles and sperm, according to the seed of Chucky. So maybe he just wants to use it as evidence. I don't know. It can't be a full-on negative right now because it might get explained in the next film. But who knows? So yeah, I don't know what to feel about this. So in the finale of this film, before the credits start rolling, Chucky wins. He's in Nika's body. You know, him and Tiffany are back together, and I swear, if they have another fight in the next film and end up killing each other, I'm gonna go mental. Because they've done that so many times now, it's just getting overdone. But yeah, it really is a shocking cliffhanger because Chucky won, he's in Nika's body and that, and you're just wondering, oh my god, is Nika gonna be okay? How's Andy gonna get out of the asylum thing? What's the other Chucky with the drill and one arm gonna do? And also, Tiffany has a spell as well, because not only is Tiffany alive in Jennifer Tilly's body, but in the back seat there's the Tiffany doll that we used to see from Bride and Seed of Chucky. So, return of the Tiffany doll, hell yeah. I mean, some people might complain about this, thinking the movie is held back a bit because it's not a complete movie. It's a two-parter, but honestly, I don't care. This just gets me excited to see the next Chucky film in this specific Don Mancini franchise, and yeah, they really are changing it up. They never do these things where Chucky wins, really, and I'm glad they did explain. Just a side note, that they did explain what happened to Alice after the film, and explained how he first possessed Alice, and then and then went to Andy's place to kill him. That just seems really weird in Curse of Chucky and weren't explained. But it was explained in this film, so, you know, the questions we had for this film will probably get explained in the next film. So, yeah, great finale. We get to hear some laughing from the two Tiffanys and Nika, possessed by Chucky. And by the way, Nika's performance as Chucky is great, you know. You can tell that she's Brad Dourif's daughter, really. So, yeah, I'm just pumped for the next film, really. So the Marvel Cinematic Universe has had a big impact on the, you know, film industry as a whole, you know. Like, so many movie franchises are doing credit scenes at the end of each film because they know that more people stay around after the credits these days because of the MCU. And, you know, Chucky's no exception. They did it in Curse, and they did it in Cult, and those were the only two films that came out after the MCU started. Coincidence? No, it is not. So yeah, just like Curse of Chucky credit scene, they brought back an old character, which was Andy, and they did the same in Cult of Chucky. Which character? Well, you're in for a treat because it's Kyle from Child's Play 2. Alright, if you haven't seen the Chucky franchise, but if you do remember my Child's Play 2 review, you probably, maybe, possibly remember that I really like the foster sibling relationship between Kyle and Andy, and I don't know if I mentioned this, but I was quite, you know, upset that, not actually upset, but, you know, kind of upset that Kyle never appeared in another film. So, she's in Cult of Chucky credit scene, so she'll probably be in the next film. They're just teasing so much for the next film, it feels like it's going to be packed, and that's probably why Don Mancini said he wants to make at least 2 more films. That's right, at least 2 more Chucky films we're going to be guessing, plus a TV show. And this credit scene was just great. It was Kyle saying, Andy sent me, and we're going to have some fun, to the random Chucky head, and, you know, she just tortures him. Every time I see that credit scene, it puts a smile on my face. It's just as good as the Curse of Chucky one, because Kyle is such a great character, and, you know, if the next film, which it probably isn't, is not the last Chucky film, we'll probably get another credit scene teasing another character's return. And honestly, who would I like that to be? If I had to pick either, I would like it to either be Glenn/Glenda or Tyler from Child's Play 3, because, like, where's he been? You know what I mean? It would just make sense. It would just make the most sense. So yeah, really like this credit scene, you know, we really pushing with these credit scenes, and they want you to know, hey, better stay around after credits because, we're going to be teasing a returning character. So, yeah. Now I'm going to give this film a B, and that is a pretty good score. Curse of Chucky was B+, and this movie isn't quite as good as Curse of Chucky. I like the tone a lot more in that film, and this film didn't quite have that tone of the Curse of Chucky, which I really loved, which I was hoping to see in the rest of the Chucky films after that. But still, pretty good tone, seems about right for a horror film about a doll taking place in a mental asylum. So yeah, it's better than Child's Play 3, Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky, and I'd say the reboot as well, why not? But just not quite as good as, Curse, Child's Play 2 and Child's Play 1. So it's really in the middle of a ranking. Also, there will be a ranking video out at some point of the franchise, don't worry. So yes, if you have seen this movie yourself, I would like to know your thoughts in the comments, but I'm being real, no one ever comments on these videos anyway, so why do I care? But honestly, if you are watching this and you have seen the film, I would really like to know what you think of the film. I've heard a lot of people not really liking it, and some go as far as to say it's about the same as Seed, which honestly I think is mental because Seed is genuinely a bad film. It's not even a horror film. Wow. But yeah, I think this film is great. Hope you all enjoyed this video. This is the 1 year anniversary of my channel. Well, not the channel, but of my first video. I did do news videos back in the day, but I deleted them all. So technically, it still is 1 year anniversary of my first video, and it's taken me an entire year to complete the original franchise. Isn't it mad? And there's only 7 movies. That's called not uploading very much, but I'm gonna try upload more this year. Do not worry, and don't be sad because there's gonna be a lot more Chucky content on the way. Ranking the movies, ranking the dolls, reviewing the reboot, and I'll review the TV show whenever the hell that comes out. It's supposed to come out this year, so yes, there'll be more Chucky stuff on the way. This is not the end of, Chucky related videos. So I will see you all next time. Peace.